Okay, so today we're going to be playing an all regions run of the game Hades 2. This is the sequel to Hades 1, obviously, and in this game we play as Melinoe, the daughter of Hades, and we have been basically trained to go to this war. Kronos, the Titan of Time, has taken over the Underworld that we loved from Hades 1, and we are trained and tasked to stop him. We have a variety of options to take them down here, as you can see by these many weapons, and in the category All Regions, we can do whichever one we want. We can use whichever kind of setup we want here. As well as these weapons, we also have things like the Arcana here. This is basically the equivalent of the Mirror of Night, but it's a bit more specific in how you have to set it up. There's little gimmicks with the cards and stuff here, like you have to make like rows if you want some activated or activate a certain amount around here. But basically it lets you customize the buffs you want here. And we are starting this from a completed save with all of them unlocked. It's basically a new game plus situation in this category. We also get to choose keepsakes as well here, which is just kind of a permanent bonus you get per region that you can swap between. We get our little animal familiars here. They run around with us, as you can see with my dog Hecuba here, and give us bonuses that we want throughout the night, depending on what we're using. And of course we have our weapons, the staff, the knives, the torches, axe, skull, and the, what's it called? It's the coat, right? It's just the coat. I always call it the mech suit, but I believe it's called the coat. And I will be doing all the regions in this game with the Moros torches, my preferred weapon of choice here. And what all regions means is we do two runs essentially, because in this game you actually have the option to go down to the Underworld and up to Mount Olympus, the surface. It's like double the size of the original game and it's awesome. So in this, we're first going to do the Underworld and make our way down to Kronos himself, and then we're actually going to do the surface and make our way to the top of Mount Olympus. And right here is kind of the heat system of this game that Hades 1 originally had. It's called Fear in this game, and it's a variety of customizable difficulty modifiers. And we're only going to be using a few here. We can use whatever we want in this category. But these are actually going to benefit us for speed in ways that I will explain in a bit, but I'll explain this one actually. Frenzy makes all the enemies just a lot faster. This is important because it actually speeds up spawn rates between like the waves in each room as we go through, because it is a roguelike and it's just very good to have all those waves go faster and faster per chamber. And it also speeds up the idle animations between a lot of the major bosses phase, which is going to save a lot of time overall. Also makes the run very scary, of course, because you have to learn to fight everything at the max amount of speed. So first we're going to be going down into the Underworld again, and then we'll be going to the surface, and we're going to use a kind of reroll function that they added here to make sure our seed is random. That is important. And time starts when I enter the Underworld here. So here we go.
Ready or not, hence I go.
I started a little early, but that's fine. You would normally start at about here. So the keepsake I actually start with here is specifically a god keepsake, and gods are basically kind of the random element of creating a build as you go in this game. They offer you random boons when you start, and here I'm going to be starting with the goddess Hera, because she offers amazing things for this weapon. And the way this weapon works is you kind of send out sparks, as you can see here, but I also have the option to spend magic to create these specials that float around me, and when I touch my sparks with them, they actually explode like a bomb and do a lot of damage. So it's a very zoner-based kind of playstyle that also uses a lot of magic. Hence why we started with the dog here, Hecuba, because she actually gives me a bonus amount of magic that's very helpful for being able to use this weapon at max power all the time. I'm gonna take Hermes here. He can offer me a lot of nice boons for just increasing general speed. I can kind of use these magic attacks a lot faster if I'm lucky. I can run around faster. Oh, or I could get these. Travel Deal's a great pick here because if I have enough money, I can practically get double boons in shops, you'll see later. Selene here is kind of the god call system of this game. After you use a certain amount of magic, and that's her right here. You can use like a special move, but unfortunately most are not good for speed, so we'll be rolling here for something else we want. Hera again, which is perfect here to segue into why she's so important on these weapons. So first of all, the boon I took at the start there, Born Gain, the way that works is it's essentially one of the best boons for regenerating magic in the game. So anytime I use up all of my magic, you can see in the bottom left there above my health bar, it'll restore fully, but just lower the maximum amount I have. So if I just get a high max amount of magic, I basically never run out of magic, and it's awesome for these weapons because you can just do crazy, crazy damage. So here is a core component of the build I kind of work towards on the Moros torches. This is Fine Line. So it creates a basically lightning blast on the ground for an extra amount of magic anytime I use an Omega move. An Omega move is what this game refers to as basically moves that use magic as you charge them, which for the torches is like literally every move I have. The attack here, so like there's the lightning, the special, there's the lightning, and it does a lot of damage. Now in speedruns, you like to take these kind of helper NPC rooms here. They're unique per region, and here it's going to be Arachne, actually, from Greek mythology.
You won't find higher quality
She's going to offer us a variety of dresses here that give us certain buffs, and this also introduces a new mechanic in Hades 2, which is the armor system. It's basically an extra health bar above your HP that once it runs out, like you can't regenerate it, you need more armor. And for these dresses, it's unique in that once you run out of that armor, you lose the dress buff permanently. We're gonna take the shop here, because that again is very good for setting up builds here. The timer's frozen, it skips encounters, just great overall. Aphrodite, I think I will be taking here. I'm gonna throw a roll here. She has a lot of high base damage, like attacks and specials. So I'll be taking this one. It's gonna just give me a flat big buff on my attacks as long as I'm close to the enemy. It makes them pink and pretty. Zeus is also a great take here, so I'm gonna just go ahead and take that for the setup here. His gimmick is Blitz, and the way Blitz works is once I hit an enemy with it, with these little specials here, because that's what I put it on, they're going to have this lightning cloud above them, and once I reach a certain damage threshold, that's actually going to pop and do a lot of extra damage, 130 in this case. Hephaestus, since I have this dress I really want to keep, is actually a great take here, because, speaking of, I should buy this, a lot of his gimmicks surround having armor, and giving you more armor. Now the reason this dress is so amazing for the weapons I'm playing is it actually increases the speed of using Omega moves by a massive 40%, which is incredible. I can use all those like super powerful, hard-hitting, magic-spending moves just more and more and more. And with the way that fine lines appear on the ground every time I use them, that's just gonna output our damage like crazy here, like a whole lot more. Of course, the scary part is trying to keep that dress, because with chaotic rooms like this very large one here, you can just get nicked at a lot of spots and take a bit of damage, and it'll just chip away your armor slowly. So kind of learning these enemy patterns very well and how to move around with your weapon of choice is very important for kind of avoiding those chips of damage and keeping your dress as long as you can here. Max magic is always good, especially as we set up these things like fine lines and channel speed, which cause us to just spend more and more magic, because the dangerous thing with the Born Gain kind of magic regen boon, as good as it is because it lowers the cap of the maximum amount of damage you can, or max amount of magic you have over and over, you can actually like just lose the ability to use magic entirely if you're not careful. So that shop to the right that appeared here is going to be our last shop of the region, and it's awesome we got this right here. Chaos Gates are very good for speedruns, and because this is the last room here, it's guaranteed that it's going to show up at the beginning of the next biome, or next region. So this is going to be the first boss here. This is our headmistress, our teacher, Hecate, and she's just here to make sure that we're strong enough, check on our training. She's a fantastic intro boss. So she's gonna create these big AoE effects here, and we're just gonna shred her. She has 3 phases. First one sends out these helper witches that we have to take down here to lower her shields, which we do. We're just gonna chuck away at her health again here with our incredible setup. Now this is dangerous. We have to basically dodge this polymorph ball here, which if we get hit by, we get turned into an animal for like a very significant amount of time and just can't do anything for a few seconds. But we dodged it well there while also managing all those projectiles, and yeah, she's just gone, just like that. And that's gonna be the first region of the run. Erebus, yes, there's 2 first regions that start with the letter E. So I get confused. So between regions, we have the ability to switch keepsakes as well. And for speedruns, the best option for the second region in each area is pretty much always going to be this one right here from Dionysus, Fig Leaf. So we have a chance of each room. Oh my god. That's incredible. Yeah, I guess I take this one. We have 2 Ixion Sparks, which is very funny. I kind of want to keep these. I would like that Witch's Mark. This is a very good buff since I'm using all Omega moves practically. But now, basically, we're guaranteed to get a Chaos Gate after this Chaos Gate, which is awesome. That's like 2 skips in a row, basically. Especially if it lines up with not overlapping with other skipping chambers. Now, the way Fig Leaf works, as I was saying, though, is whenever I enter a combat room, there's a small chance that the room will just have no enemies and instantly end, and a disco ball appears, and it's awesome. Oh, this is a great downside, because in speedruns it's practically free of a penalty. And yeah, the way Chaos works is he offers large buff boons like that at a cost that you have to kind of overcome. And that's our next, that's a Fig Leaf proc right there, actually. So yeah, that sucks. You do not like to see this, of 3 skip rooms like this, all just overlapping completely. I'm gonna take the shop here, which was actually a mistake. I should not have taken that because I did not have money. Ideally, I would have taken the helper room there, which is Narcissus. Can also give me some stuff. Now here's another thing we look out for in speedruns is when you're kind of going through these less skipped rooms, you really like to try and take rooms that do not have menus in the rewards, such as this heart. Like, I just take it like that, because that actually gives a chance of helpful NPCs with good buffs and like time saves showing up. That we'll maybe see later. I think I'm going to take Aphrodite here, because I actually want the ability to take 2 curses, ideally put them on enemies, because that will give me a 50% buff on all the damage I do. Here we have the King Vermin returning from his reign in Hades 1. Goes down easy, no problem. Which is great. He can be terrifying, especially when you're trying to keep dresses like this. Oh, this could also be a fantastic option because I'm spending so much magic. I think I'm gonna take it. Basically, it summons a little damaging orb around me after I use enough magic, which for me is practically instant. We got a fountain room here, also fantastic. That has a small chance of showing up between chambers, and it's basically a skip. This is not a great room because it's very large, has a lot of hazards, and currently is summoning the 2 worst enemy types in this region of Oceanus. The crabs and the hippos, and there's steam everywhere, and it's terrifying. I just couldn't help but take 6 damage here. But that's going to be the end of the Oceanus region here. I'm going to be taking some more armor here since I took a bit of chip damage, just kind of recharge on that. Especially because the region after this one is quite dangerous. This is basically a random palm. It can boost the potential of a boon a little bit. And there it hit my attack, which is awesome. Love that. And here we're going to be fighting the Sirens and Scylla. And this fight can be a bit difficult because you have to manage hitting all 3 of these characters at once. They can all move around and do different things. But the one we want to try to kill is right above Scylla, the one with the guitar, Jetty. She's going to run away instantly as soon as this starts, and if we can knock her down for phase 2 before that starts, that's going to save us a lot of time because she likes to just kind of move to the other side of the arena. So let's see here what happens. I think I got her, yep. With the weapon I'm playing, it can be very difficult. You kind of have to body block her like that so she doesn't go in the water. And here a like new star of the band is going to be kind of highlighted here, and they're going to get a special attack. And it was Jetty, which is great RNG actually, because she can just move back to the center of the group like that, and yeah, they just all group up and just we take them out, no problem, just like that. As you can see, when you get crazy damage setups in this game, fights go very fast, hence why I'm doing my best to kind of pause between encounters to explain stuff before it's just over when you blink. So for this next area, you can kind of take two keepsakes here. One option is taking the Gorgon Amulet, which actually summons a special NPC, Athena, who is not a base god in this game. And she can give you very nice boons, but my general preference for the Underworld is actually just taking Metallic Droplet here for the third region, because the region we're heading towards, the Mourning Fields, also that's great, I will never get Witch's Mark, I guess, goodness, is going to have very unique chambers. They're going to be very wide and large, and so having that movement speed and channel speed is just going to be a very nice buff overall to kind of navigate these rooms very fast. So the way the rooms work here is it's not like the standard chambers where you go to one reward, fight a bunch of enemies. It's actually going to be multiple rewards in a random area. And you have to hit these trees right here somewhere to be able to see where they are. And you have to navigate each of these rooms. That's a fig leaf there, nice. To collect them as fast as you can. And then the exits are going to be showing up. So the enemies are, and also the waves are very long here in comparison to other rooms. But that one wasn't, because we're just so strong. Oh, sudden burst. So I don't think I brought up hammers yet, but hammers are basically random buffs that you get twice a night that you cannot reroll for your weapons specifically. They're not boons. So this one right here is the best option by far for my torches. Honestly, this is just an incredible build so far. It basically doubles the rate I can send out projectiles like that. So mini boss is going to show up pretty early here because there's a lot less chambers overall. This one's terrifying. He can just heal, run around like that, but we took care of him very well there. A boon I'm looking for here from Hephaestus is going to be heavy armor, which is actually going to give us a lot of flat damage, but it doesn't look like we're getting super lucky with that. Yeah, no. He was being pretty stubborn there, unfortunately. Trusty Shield is a good option too, though. It just gives us a shield at the start of each encounter. So here's the helper for Mourning Fields. It's going to be Echo.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
And she, in particular, can offer very strong bonuses here, such as this one, Gift, Gift, Gift. That metallic droplet I picked up for this area, it's actually going to carry over to the last region, so I can have two at once.
Please take care.
And so I get to basically keep that channel speed and running speed for the rest. Zeus is a good pick here, and so is Hermes, but hammers are just so strong that I just want to take it. And I'll also get more money here for the shop that's going to be at the end.
Be able to revive that bow.
There's our bow. This room is a little problematic. It's one of the worst ones you can get, size-wise. I believe this is the Thorn Circle room, because we call it that because there's a big thorn circle somewhere in the middle. Very wide, has a lot of extra enemies and stuff you kind of have to navigate around. And they can also randomly have the exits on either the right side or the left side, so like they can be mirrored. I'm a bit concerned about my magic here because I am just sending out so much magic attacks that look how far you kind of see that, and I'm gonna get even more here because this is basically the same as Sudden Burst but for the special. You can see how much lower my max amount of magic I can use is here. Like, it's just very difficult to manage. And actually this is not this Thorn Circle room, but it is one of the wider ones. And see, now that I'm out of magic here, like the damage is just so much lower. It's a bit of a problem for taking out these enemies. I kind of really want that magic here just to raise it a bit. There we go. Although this is the most problematic room for that situation. I should be good the rest of the run now that I've gone past the longest room you need to last with magic. Actually, I could get a boon called Spiritual Affirmation here. Yep, from Aphrodite. That's gonna raise my max magic by quite a bit, 58. So not a problem anymore. This is a convenient one to take because, again, we are using magic a lot. And we're at the end of Mourning Fields here. We're going to take out the boss here, and it's actually Cerberus from Hades 1. Poor guy got sent out to the fields to take us down by Kronos. And yeah, you can see this damage setup is just absurd. He's gonna exit the ground halfway through to start phase 2 and just send out random enemies. We take him out, no problem, and then we can just finish him off. Hopefully he doesn't move around too much. He's moving around too much, but not a big problem overall. And he restores back to his good old self. All is well. Now the last region we're going to go to is actually going to be the first region from Hades 1. It's going to be Tartarus, but it's been taken over by Kronos, so lots of gold everywhere, lots of time references, a lot of very difficult enemies that can kind of take you out very fast if you're not careful. So because I have such a good armor setup, I'm actually going to take a very fun keepsake here. This is the White Antler. You have 30 max HP, but for one region you can do 30% critical damage, which is incredible. That basically means we have a 30% chance to do triple damage on all of our damage. Archaic Steel is very cool, because if I get something like,
should be useful.
Well, nothing in particular, unfortunately, but it can basically cause a other bonus from the little well here to last for the entirety of 2 regions, which is awesome.
Unseen.
So we're gonna head down here. We have an amazing build, and the way Tartarus works is it's pretty inspired by the last region of Hades 1. We don't have a lot of chambers we need to go through. We need to go through 5 total, and we basically have the option between chambers to either go through a special chamber that gives us a reward or to just progress through the end. And obviously, since we are speedrunning, we're just going to ignore all those little bonus chambers and go through the progression ones, which are all going to be in Roman numerals. That's the helper of this region. It's Hades, actually, and he gives us great boons. Nice big leaf there. But unfortunately, he also increases the value of basically biome death, which you don't want to happen in this area, because that can cause the last chambers to have so many more enemies, which can slow you down a lot. And they're overall just not super worth it when you already have a setup like this that can just shred through everything, no problem. We're already almost through. Like, this is fantastic RNG so far. See our last chamber here. Ooh, these enemies you have to be careful towards. They spawn bubbles that if you step in them, you freeze completely until they go away, which can be very dangerous, cause you to take a lot of damage, just lose you a lot of time. But I believe that's all the enemies here, and we're basically at the final shop. Hello, Banana. Doing my GDQ submission run right now. I'm gonna take more armor here, just in case, because the final boss here, Kronos, he has a pretty dangerous move that can completely take it all down in an instant. So I actually don't have my kind of curse bonus origination here, but now I do. I can apply that hitch curse that Hera does, so I can do 50% more damage most of the time on the final boss here.
Hello and goodbye.
Now, because I've completed the story on the save, there's a second Kronos. We call him Klonos. Don't worry about it too much, but he's gonna help us out here, basically go back in time and take out Kronos once again. Now, this boss is fantastic. I love him so much. Such a fun boss. He has a lot of very fun gimmicks with those, again, like freeze bubbles, can spawn a lot of projectiles, has this very scary scythe throw, but again, our damage setup with this is just so strong. We're gonna just take him down no problem here. We're already halfway through the first phase. Timing those dashes to dodge those scythe throws, no problem. We just gotta be careful here. He spawns orbs around him with that, and that can eat through like our defense completely. So here, he's gonna do an insta kill, and if our damage is good enough, yep, we actually send him to the final phase before he can even do it. And then yeah, we just finish him here. We got fantastic RNG, no problem. That is the Underworld regions all complete. And then yeah, Klonos here takes down Kronos, because he's just that kind of an individual. So for all the time I took to explain, honestly, 752 is fantastic IGT.
What you did to this house.
Yeah, Zachary's Moros builds are very fun. They can be so silly, and that was a fantastic build in particular I got. We'll see how that goes in the surface, though. Surface can be very scary in particular. So we're gonna head out here and run back down and head up to the surface. So surface is very different from Underworld. Underworld is pretty close to the regions with a few unique twists in certain regions, like compared to Hades 1. But the surface just has so many cool, unique gimmicks going on that make for a really fun run overall. It can cause some difficult RNG in comparison though, so you just have to be very good at consistently dealing with a lot of situations on the surface. So again, we're going to start with Hera here. Now for surface, you actually do not want the shadows here. It does not potentially save any time or cause mini bosses to be faster, just harder. Reroll our RNG here, and we're gonna go.
More to be done up here.
Now the first region of surface is the city of Ephyra, and it is my favorite region in the game. It's so fun. So we're just gonna do these first few chambers here before we head on in.
Yes.
Get our Born Gain again to make sure we don't run out of magic easily. Take out a lot of zombies. Hermes is great here again, just very solid boons overall for speed. And Ephyra has been taken over by zombies here. Kronos has come in with his troopers and just kind of cursed the city of Ephyra with a lot of undead stuff going on, and it's not great. Travel deal again is fantastic, can potentially get 2 boons. So, oh, this is amazing, by the way. Wow. So the way Ephyra works is all of these chambers can appear on basically tons of different doors here. And it can have like random stuff on it entirely too. And you have these overview looks you can get here to kind of route out where you want to go. And we actually have which rooms are fastest and slowest like memorized here, so we can kind of plan that out even better. And we need to do 6 rooms total to take out these pylons basically that are blocking us from progressing to the new region. So I'm gonna start with that Hera room on the left there, go to that Poseidon room, and then kind of do all of those rooms in the bottom right corner there because they're all very fast, especially that helper room we'll see in a bit here. So here's the pylon, we have to break that, and it'll progress the area and also just send out a bunch of shades that can help take out those tricky enemies. I'm gonna take Sworn Flourish here. It's gonna showcase more that Hitch Curse that you didn't really get to see much last time. That's just fantastic for taking out enemies. Poseidon is also just great to get on this weapon. Poseidon and Hera actually have some fantastic combos that work together very nicely, especially with their duo boon, which is basically a special boon between 2 gods that can be offered if you get the prerequisites. I want that one. Like, that's one of the prerequisites, and basically, it's gonna be another kind of magic shenanigan thing. I'll take the fountain here because you need to eventually, but I think I'm gonna roll this actually. Yeah, get more Hera. And oh, speaking of tons of things going on, this is Heracles, the mightiest of men. He can show up randomly like in 3 of the regions here actually. He showed up in Ephyra here. And he offers us to a contest basically to take out like certain enemies here to try and earn more money. Also freezes the timer IGT. You love to see these in the IGT runs. And yeah, that's gonna end the room there. Let's see if I can get, oh, Ripple Effect. Yep, that's the duo boon between Poseidon and Hera. It's gonna increase fine lines and ocean swells to have a chance to fire 2 times. Which is awesome.
The consequence of
They want to talk here because I haven't progressed the story fully, necessarily. So we're gonna go to the helper room here. This is Medea. I love Medea so much. She does some messed up stuff over here in her corner with, you know, a lot of interesting sacrifices, and offers this amazing bonus in particular we love here, Traces of Spirit. So remember I said, and you kind of saw in Mourning Fields here, that this weapon can run out of magic very, very much if you're not super careful, but now we just get 5 max magic every run, or every like room we complete here, and that's going to be awesome. We just are going to have a ton of magic by the end. And then the last room, oh, Hydraulic Might is such a fun one. It gives you so much damage at the start of rooms, sometimes lasting the whole room. We're gonna end with the Hammer here. Hope for something like Sudden Burst, or Clean Coil again is a very awesome one. So is Furious Blaze, that's a great one. Just increases the speed you fire. Yep, there it is. Increases the speed you fire your sparks overall. Which can do a lot of damage, and yeah, that was a very fast Ephyra.
Well, this was lovely.
We've taken out 6 of the pylons. We're gonna move on to the region boss here right after this shop. Zeus is good here, especially if you just give me Epic on that boon right there. Do I want more Zeus? Yes, actually, I do, because he has a lot of boons that, that is very tempting. Priming 50 magic is a lot, but this is going to help us a lot in future chambers. And we have a great setup for managing magic, so I'm just going to go ahead and take it, honestly. Also raise the power of that Blitz effect we just got. Yeah. And this is Polyphemus, the Cyclops. He's taking care of sheep and just blocking our progress to the next area. He's gonna jump around here a lot, cause a bunch of giant shockwaves and stuff, summon some friends, and he has only 3 phases here. And again, with just our crazy setup here with damage, we can just manage and take down this guy no problem. And honestly, 131 is incredible IGT, especially since, again, I'm just commentating a lot as we go. So the next region, yeah, he really does just die in 12 seconds, it's crazy. The next region we're going to is actually Thessaly. I'm gonna take, again, Fig Leaf here with just the situation I'm in to skip a room potentially in the next 3 regions. So it's basically going to be a bunch of ships we go on and boats, and we have to jump between them to try and progress to the shore on the other side. Rapture Ring's a great take here. The way that works is it applies Aphrodite's kind of curse little gimmick, which is weakness. It's not incredible on itself, it just lowers the amount of damage enemies can do to you, which can be nice, especially at the end of the surface, but it is overall just a curse we're looking for to, again, apply to it once and do 50% more damage to enemies. And yeah, the way Static Shock works, I didn't explain it earlier, is every time I hit an enemy with my weapon, these tiny little sparks are gonna fly between enemies and stuff and do a bit of damage. It's very similar to the Jolted effect in Hades 1 that you can get. This is Fig Leaf, I can tell because there's no enemies ahead here. It is indeed my lucky night. These runs are honestly incredible. And yeah, the way these boats work is we take out a wave, and then every time the steering wheel here, sorry, I don't know what it's called. I know there's a specific word for it, the wheel, is going to spawn 1 to 2 extra rewards that we choose from before going to a new wave, and then it's going to break once we know we're on the last one. So we know we're on the last one here, we can go ahead here to the next one. Now it's going to take us to either, again, that green arrow, meaning a new boat, or it's going to take us to potentially a free chamber or bonus chamber, and we love those because these boat encounters can be especially long. So getting those skips is just a fantastic thing to get for speeds. Her luck hasn't been great so far, but we'll start potentially seeing those more. Now this could either be fantastic luck or the worst possible luck you can get, and it's fantastic, thankfully. There's 2 mini-bosses that can show up in Thessaly. One is this guy, the Argonaut, and the other is Charybdis. You do not want to see Charybdis in speedruns. He's incredibly dangerous, incredibly long of a fight. And normally when you're playing for PBs in this situation, I'll take Heartbreaker again this run since I'm spending a lot of magic. Mid-chop is great here. You would just reset instantly seeing Charybdis, so very thankful I didn't get that there. A lot of good choices here. I already have Ocean Swell, so I don't think I'd need much more from Poseidon, so I think I'm just going to take the max magic and the armor here for safety. I actually didn't know that could appear in surface, I'm gonna be honest. That might be fast for speedruns, actually. Yeah. I really do not like these enemy waves where it's just a bunch of small random enemies like that, because they're all very green. And as you can see, these boats are all very green. So they tend to blend in. You can miss them very easily if you're not looking too carefully. I'm getting fantastic RNG here. I believe this, yep, this is the end. This is great. Yeah, no, y'all, I think that might be fast. We're gonna take Hera here. She can just have a lot of— oh, I didn't get fine lines yet? I wasn't even aware. I'm gonna be honest. That's gonna boost our damage a ton. We're gonna head to the last boss of Thessaly here, head to the shore here, and this is Erebus, Strife Incarnate. She is technically invited to our side of this war, but she just decides to fight us for fun. She wields actually the aspect of Eris Adamant Rail from Hades 1, and she's gonna shoot all these bullets and bombs at us here and get her 100% damage bonus that you could get in— oh, that's so dangerous! Oh my goodness! In Hades 1 here. And so yeah, if you just get hit by those big attacks like that while she's doing double damage, that is very dangerous. Oh my goodness. Alright, we got her. No problem. So I'm actually going to take a god keepsake here. I'm going to take Hephaestus's god keepsake to try and get him in my god pool so I can get more armor. Because the way I play with Arcana right now is I actually play without Death Defiances. I play an Arcana card that when you don't have Death Defiances, it gives you a bit of attack bonus damage and reduces the damage you take by 40%. Which is very nice for speeds, but very dangerous for just potentially dying at the end here, which you don't want to see.
The shard.
We were offered armor, but we can't afford it by 1 gold. Are there any pots around? I guess not. That's very unfortunate. Yeah, I would very likely play with Death Defiances in a marathon setting if I were scared. So anyways, we're in Mount Olympus. That's awesome. This is the longest region in the game. We're gonna climb to the top of it here. You can go in either these outdoor chambers here in the snow, or indoor chambers we'll see in a bit within like the palace kind of area. And we're gonna be challenged by Cronus's forces here, just going all in, and also automatons that the gods have basically set out to try and like defend them, but they think we're an enemy, so they're gonna attack us. Here's one of those indoor chambers we go in here. And honestly, from just like a story standpoint, I adore this area a lot. It's very cool and immersive, just like entering a room and seeing these forces clash with each other or trying to break through walls and stuff. And the music here is fantastic. It's just great overall. We're gonna go ahead and take Hermes here again. Selene is a very cool god that's very fun to play with casually, but just not fantastic for speeds in comparison to other choices. Oh goodness, that's not good. This is a certain eagle who lives at the top here of the mountain, who can sometimes show up and just cause us some trouble. You really don't like seeing him for speedruns, because he can slow down the last wave a lot there, as you saw. Ooh, Racing Thoughts is a good choice here. So we actually try to avoid taking a lot of outdoor chambers because of that. Though now it's not as big as a big deal since it's happened once, and it can only happen once per run in Olympus. Which is what it is. These zombies can be very annoying. They can just be sitting in the corners and can be very difficult to find and hunt down like that. And these dragons are scary. They can just fly across the map like that, doing very high damage fire. So you gotta be on the lookout for those. Gonna be taking Hera here for the mini-boss, and the mini-boss we have here is Talos, actually. Hephaestus' automaton, and he's just gonna run around here, set a bunch of fire on the ground that can do some damage to us, and we'll be dodging that. Afterwards, he'll be throwing his discs around, we'll be dodging that the best we can, which is not very well. But we took him down very fast because our damage is just fantastic, so we're fine. My authority. And that boon I took from Hephaestus earlier is just going to give us a little bit of armor every single room, which is going to be fantastic for defense. Since I have a great source of hitch, this is a great take for just taking down enemies faster. I'm going to get more health for now because I don't really need to boost my boons more that much. Because I've gotten the bird already, I think I'm actually going to take the hammer here. I don't have a risk of losing time to that RNG again. And there's actually an NPC that only shows up in outdoor chambers that can show up in the Thessaly region, but did not. So we have a small chance of that occurring here as well if we take outdoor regions. He didn't show up on this one though, which is unfortunate. Mega Blaze is a decent option here. Having your attacks go further is just fantastic for increasing your range, and the 30% damage bonus is super nice. Now, Olympus is a bit unique from a lot of regions in this game, where a lot of its free chambers are actually not guaranteed. So if you get very unlucky, please help, you can just get combat chambers over and over again like this, and it can be very scary. And lose a lot of time overall because, you know, you're not skipping them. Question I'm answering in chat. Yes, Fountain is only in indoor chambers, which is, again, a potential skip room. And yeah, we just got an Olympus with no skips at all, which is quite unfortunate, but we're at the end here, about to fight the boss, which ends the longest chamber in the game. Air quality is very fun here because of this boon I took at the beginning, Static Shock. Now all that chain lightning is going to do over double damage instead. Poseidon can maybe off. Yeah, look at that. This is a much better kind of status effect and damage source than weakness. Froth is very good. It just lets you do flat damage potentially while it's active, like every time you hit something. Anyways, this is Prometheus, Titan of Foresight, brought the flame to mortals for the first time, and he's actually teamed up with that eagle who did some not nice things for him for eternity, and they're gonna work together to try and take us down here. This is honestly my favorite fight in the game. I love this character so much. The design is fantastic. It's dynamic, it's fun, it's like super hectic. Like, he fights like a Street Fighter character, just kicking us with all these cool blue fire. It's doing a lot of damage. That's very painful. And between phases, we're gonna do this kind of gimmick here where we have to like memorize the paths. You can iframe these luckily, but I like to do iframing and kind of try and memorize the paths to try and just like basically double protect myself. Oh goodness. It's causing a controller. I'm just gonna play very ranged here. Oh, he did his dodge mechanic anyways, so it worked out and dodged just towards us. Alright, let me focus here, because this one's very long. It's a swap every time. Oh no, it wasn't. Okay, I'm just iframing all of these, I guess. My goodness. You really don't want to get hit by those. They do 60 damage, so if I got hit by those two and didn't iframe them properly, I would be dead right now. Dodge that fire blast, or I'm getting hit by that. But we're taking them out here, no problem. And yeah, Prometheus is a very dangerous fight, as you saw. He just is super aggressive, has a ton of AoEs, very scary phases you have to focus on to not get hit for a ton of damage there. And yeah, he's just quite scary for sure, but we have an even scarier section coming up, unfortunately. So we've reached the top of Mount Olympus, and we are now on the summit. Now for safety, I'm actually going to be taking the metallic droplet here. In speedruns, I would normally take the antler, but being at 30 HP is beyond terrifying for this section. The enemies here, I'll take that armor for sure. The enemies here are incredibly aggressive, do a ton of damage, are super hectic, and the final boss is also just super dangerous. But it's by far the shortest region, which is good, but my goodness is it hectic. So the final boss of Surface is Typhon, and he's the father of all monsters, and here are all his monsters, just being incredibly chaotic and terrifying in the surface area. They're super fast, aggressive, do a ton of damage, and can just like cause so much problems on Furies too, especially when they're at max speed. I'm gonna go ahead and take the big palm here. It's gonna give us a lot of bonus on the boon here. This is a great boss to get, especially with having Hitch, because all this damage I'm doing to each of them is just gonna be applied to the other. And it's just fantastic overall for taking them down fast. I did indeed iframe those attacks, yes. I'm hoping this hits either fine lines or... no. I actually have a lot of rolls. I didn't even realize. I'm really hoping this... I'm also using them all here, hoping this hits, yeah, Fine Lines or Ocean's well here, because this game shares a general mindset that applies to Hades 1, where buffing the damage of flat damage sources rather than percents is overall going to increase your damage output by a ton in comparison. Now this is going to be the final enemy chamber. These guys are incredibly obnoxious. Look how fast they can just teleport away. They're very hard to catch. A boon I ordered from Hermes has showed up here. Oh, water fitness is nice. Increases my max HP by a ton, which is good, especially since I am not taking Antler and can actually use that. The final mini boss here is going to be the Tail of Typhon, which is, yeah, literally just Typhon's tail attacking us here. He generally is super aggressive with how he attacks us, and then can choose to go on either the left side or right side of the room to do a laser before summoning a ton of problematic hazards here. But we're just going to take him out here and then face Typhon himself. If you're playing a different weapon like Skull Aspect of Medea, and which is a super up close and personal weapon, that can cause a lot of problems for sure.
That's a feeling.
Gonna take max magic here, just to triple make sure I don't prime out. But Moros is just a very good weapon for playing at kind of a mid-range and being generally safe. Now I'm gonna be taking this armor here, and some more armor I guess, just a lot of armor, thanks Travel Deal. Because this boss hits like a truck if you're not careful. As you can see, he's a large fella. So large and so intimidating, he takes out his own health bar, so we just kind of have to know by vibes where he's at for his maximum HP. And generally what this boss is, design-wise, is meant to be kind of a DPS race. You want to do as much damage as you can to him before he does too much damage to you. Which is why Antler is overall pretty safe most of the time, but if you're not feeling super confident or safe, it can be a very dangerous take, especially in a marathon setting. Hi Doga, thank you! I'm about to finish it actually. Zeus is gonna come in here halfway through the fight and stun him for a sec, and we're just gonna take out his tongue here, which is his weak point. And now we're in the final part of the fight. We're gonna get, again, these little eggs he summons here. And he summoned them before, but what they do, if you don't take them out in time, is they spawn little enemies that pop out. So you want to take those out very fast. And this is gonna be the final part of the fight. Very hectic, tons of projectiles, very aggressive attacks, absolutely everywhere. He's just very, very upset, but we should finish him right about here, I believe. Oh, barely before I got hit here. And we're just gonna be hitting the finishing hit here, completely eradicating him from the existence of time. And that's going to be time. That was Hades 2 All Regions. And yeah, it's just a very, very fun run that showcases all of the very unique and cool parts of the game that they worked very hard to just bring a ton of variety to. Showcases just how crazy damage and setups can get in this game. The magic system they have and the boon variety is just so, so cool. And I am just very excited to submit this as a potential run to showcase.